That's what the disciples asked right after Jesus told them. Shall deliver him to the Gentiles, the scribes and the priests, the chief priests, shall be delivered to the Gentiles to mock and to scourge and to crucify him. And the third day he shall rise again. And then again in Mark 10:34, and they shall mock him and shall scourge him and shall spit upon him and shall kill him, and the third day he shall rise again. Then in verse 35 of Mark and also verse 20 of Matthew 20, same deal. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, come unto him, saying, Master, we would that thou shouldest do for us whatsoever we shall desire. Weren't you boys just listening? Did you just hear what Jesus said? That's how I probably would have responded. That's because I'm not Jesus, and it would have been wrong. But Jesus is very gentle with them. But it's like, I just told you. I'm going to be crucified. I'm going to be spit upon. I'm going to be scourged. Didn't you hear me? No, they didn't hear him, because when the time came that occurred, they all ran. They weren't listening. We would that thou shouldest do for us whatsoever we shall desire. Hey, he is doing that. He's dying for your sins. He's dying for the stupidity of what you're now asking. But once again, Jesus didn't respond that way. Because look, these guys came up with that. And James and John of all. Don't you love the book of James? Don't you love the book of John? I mean, these guys I think of as, like, to me, the greatest of all. Because, well, James and John. Okay, James that wrote James, now that I think about it, that was the brother of Christ, right? The earthly brother of Christ. It wasn't this James, right? Am I right? Just say, yes, I'm right, if I'm right, because I get them goofed up too. But still, John, he comes to him with this question. I mean, it shows like our human nature, doesn't it? You know, you come to somebody with intent to ask them something, they tell you something that's a burden to them, but you're so intent on what you had that you wanted to ask that you don't even hear what they say. And then it's like, well, look, okay, yeah, okay, but I got this question for you. And then I love this too, because Jesus said, what would ye that I should do for you? He knew what they were going to ask. He always knows. Every time Jesus asks a question, be assured, he knows the answer. But he lets them ask. And then he treats them so gently. But then, in both passages, the disciples got mad at these guys. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the two brethren. And that's what happens in Christian circles too. You know, a brother goofs up, maybe makes a request that's not, I don't know, you know, something they do in church, something that they didn't get permission to do. And people look down on them. Well, who's he think he is? But in both passages, see here too, the 10 heard it, they began to be much displeased with James and John. But Jesus called them to him. He's like, come on over here, guys. And then he gives them this, once again, gentle thing. You know, in the world, there's folks who look to each other for authority. Oh, this guy's a great guy. Let's put him in positions of power. That's not the way it is with God and the church. It's like, this guy's a great guy. This guy's a great guy because he's humble. He wants to teach. He's not all about himself. So let's make him our servant. But he says our minister. But he's supposed to be a minister. And whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant. You know, it's like our police. You know, our police and our firefighters. They're public servants. So are doctors and those kind of things. But in this day and age, quite often, those people let that authority go to their head, and they're pompous and arrogant. They're not servants. But that's how it should be. This is a great story coming up.